The following is a live sports event featuring the Abernathy Antelopes or Lady Lopes. This broadcast is a presentation of the Abernathy Sports Network and may not be altered or used in its entirety without the written consent from the Abernathy Sports Network. Today's broadcast is made possible by the fine supporters: MC Master Roofing and Construction, South Plains Auto Ranch, Clark Riley Insurance, April Funeral Home and Flower Shop, First Baptist Church, JC's Refrigeration, StormGuard, Plains Land Bank, Nutrient Ag Solutions, the Junkin Farmers Market, MZJ Variety Shop, Shallowater, Rooted Revival Hair Salon, Chance Rocha, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Code 3 Soda Shop and Meat Market, Lasso Electric, Webb Vision Center, Hill Vet, WTX Diesel, West Texas Brick and Stone, Rural Roots Medical Clinic, the Farmers Cooperative Compress, First State Bank, DB Media, Ty Horsford Realtor. Again, thank you for tuning in tonight's live sports event. It will begin shortly.
Quarter. There's an empty backfield looking to throw. Wiley swings it out over to the far side. Lots of room. 10-5 touchdown. Coming up. There's the snap. Another handoff underneath. And the first one there behind the line of scrimmage is number 50, Dyson Garcia. Sideline. Faking that. That's actually the snap to Micheletti. Micheletti takes off. He may have his second touchdown of the night. And he does! Colt Micheletti from 28 yards. Highly three-receiver set. There's Rolando in motion. He gets the pick, and he hits the hole hard. He's into the red zone. He's carrying tackler. He's Superman into the end zone. Rolando Martinez on the second. And good evening, Abernathy, Texas, and good evening, fans of the Abernathy Antelopes and Lady Lopes. Voice of the Antelopes, Ty Horsford, alongside that other guy, Chance Rocha, here tonight. And we are live on location. We are at Code 3 Soda Shop and Meat Market right here in Abernathy, Texas. Our first true on-location show, Chance, and we're excited to be at one of Abernathy's new hotspots, and they are a proud supporter and sponsor, title sponsor for the Abernathy Sports Network. They make shows like this possible, as well as our broadcasts each and every Friday night. So we'll be here from 6 to 7 this evening. Would love for you to come out and have supper, grab a drink, and enjoy part of our show live and in person here tonight at Code 3, again from 6 to 7 o'clock. And in case you haven't seen it, Chance, on our Facebook page earlier, we did post a trivia question to have a little bit of fun today. As the trivia question, what was the score of last year's Abernathy Farwell game that was played in Farwell? Obviously, Farwell, our homecoming opponent for Friday night. Bring that answer to Code 3 tonight, and at checkout, let them know that. And the first 10 people that do that, your drink is on us.
That's it.
Here at Outside the Box. So we'd love to have you participate in that again. You can find that info at our Facebook page as well. But Chance, we've got a packed show for you here tonight. And so we will just jump right in. Obviously, kind of going to start on a little bit of a, I don't know if I want to say somber, but just kind of a heavy note, if you will. And it's no surprise, no shock. Over the last 2 or 3 weeks to a month, just lots of very challenging things going on in our community. Lots of heavy things, lots of people dealing with lots of hurt and just difficult circumstances in the community and in the school in general. But I think one thing that's been really positive that has come out of that is you've seen not only the school community, but you've seen just kind of our community as a whole kind of rally behind these families through support and prayers and different things like that. And that's just been really, really incredible to see. You and I talk all the time how special of a community Abernathy is. And that's kind of being put on display right now, even though maybe not for the reasons you would want.
Right. Not, and you never want it to be in a reason of somewhat of tragedy, like you said, some hardships that some families are going through, had some losses in the community, and you have some other young, just members of our school system that have just fell on some hard times. You had everyone saw that was watching the game on Friday. Case Heiner gets injured at the football game, and we're getting good positive feedback from him, but continue to lift him up in prayer. And they're doing a lot of great things to lift up that family. They did the maroon out earlier this week, and then they're doing the wristbands. They're selling those after the pep rally and before the game, and all the proceeds are going to that family. And then you have the two middle school students actually, Kira and Tack both, who both were in some accidents as well, and just continue to lift them up. And the middle school did another this week. They did a wear red and blue for both of them, and doing some gift card fundraisers, some things to just support those families and well. And that's one of those things, Ty, that, like you said, you never want to see things like that happen in a community, but just the fact that we're Abernathy strong, we've all come together just to support those families. We talk all the time, Chance, about the importance of supporting one another, and so we just encourage you to take time to speak words of encouragement, but most importantly, pray for these families. Yep.
And these students that are going through very difficult times right now. And really, that kind of leads into our interview this week, as we talked to high school principal Tate Albright yesterday. And it was a really good chat with him. We'll share that for you here in a minute. But one of the things we kind of talked about with him was, as a leader in the school district, when things like that happen, inevitably they do, inevitably they will, how do you help navigate that from a leadership standpoint? And then he talks obviously a lot about the students, everyone kind of rallying as a community behind these families. And so he talks a little bit about that. And then, of course, it is homecoming week.
It is.
Here in Abernathy, so an exciting time for that. He gets into a little bit of homecoming chat as well. But we'll talk more about what he shares on our interview after the interview. I don't want to take away Mr. Albright's thunder, but let's go ahead and show you this week's interview again with
Mr. Tate Albright.
Mr. Tate Albright, our high school principal at Abernathy ISD. And we're here with Abernathy High School Principal Tate Albright. And Mr. Albright, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to talk all things high school, all things homecoming here this week. Can you just talk about some things on your campus? School year's several weeks in now. Some things that you're excited about, some things that are going well here at the high school.
Absolutely. So honestly, with everything, going to my second year as principal, I can't explain how amazing this place is. The kids are just absolutely phenomenal, and they make every day just me happy to be here. I wake up excited to come see them. They love on me, and I love on them, and just the atmosphere that they bring is something that's just pretty magical and special to Abernathy. Same things I'm excited about this year is just kind of things that we put into place last year. It's kind of been growing. One of my big things is school culture and spirit, and getting kids pumped up for everything that we do, whether it's sports or academics or band, and having them really go for it. And we still got a few years to grow with that, but they're doing great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that kind of leads into my next question. One of the things I love about you and in your leadership is how passionate you are about school pride, school spirit, community pride. Obviously, homecoming week is a week that is on full display. Can you just talk about kind of the importance of homecoming at your campus and kind of how it plays into that?
Absolutely. So kind of like I said, school spirit and culture is a huge thing. There's lots of research that shows that when kids are passionate about their school and they have school spirit, that it improves academics, that improves behavior. And so that's something that is important to me. But also small school pride and tradition is amazing, and it's huge. And I like to, keep our tradition, but I also want to grow. And I want our kids to really experience, having that high school, that pride in everything they do, whether it's pep rallies or going to the game and standing up. And so homecoming leads right into that. So we always decorate the school for homecoming, but this year we took it up a notch and we're doing class competitions, as you can kind of see behind me. Our seniors and our sophomores and our juniors and our freshmen, they all came up on Sunday and decorated their section of the halls. They all have a different theme, and I always say, welcome to my circus, and that's exactly what we have going on up here. And it's amazing to see them. I was up here on Sunday, they were excited, and they were jumping around and making it, and they are just, oh man, I can't even explain. I can't even talk how excited I am because of how awesome they do and how much pride they put into this place.
That's cool. I love that. On a little bit of a different note, obviously the last few weeks within kind of the school community in general, lots of heavy things happening, lots of families at all of our campuses kind of dealing with some different things. Can you just talk a little bit about kind of your role in helping navigate that, but also just kind of speak to how the school community and really community in general has rallied behind these families?
People that aren't always from here, and they don't realize how amazing this place is in this community. And it goes from the community itself to the students. Our students, they have kind of taken the forerunning. We have these number 7 strong stickers that Lacey Velasquez put together. We're charging $1 for them. We're going to donate to the Heinrich family. We're going to get bracelets that we're going to be able to support, with the family and donate. And then really the kids, what my job has been is kind of be here for the kids and what they need and how I can be here to help them, that and my teachers and staff. But the kids have taken the forerun of what can we do. I have Emmy Isherwood. She's in charge of the FCA, and we're going to come and kind of get together and have a little bit of fellowship during advisory today. And awesome. She's going to say a few words for our community and for Case. And it's me as a leader is kind of just giving the kids the opportunity to be leaders themselves. And that's kind of an amazing thing I've got to do this week.
Awesome. Real quick, I know you've got some new staff in key positions this year at the high school campus, teachers, but also counselor, assistant principal as well. Can you just kind of speak to how all of that is meshing together here as the school year gets started?
Absolutely. I'm going to brag on myself. I think I hired pretty well because they are rock stars and they are amazing. Like, they have come in and fit in perfectly into our community and our school. The teachers that have joined us this year, they jumped right in and they are knocking it out of the park. Bridget and Cody, I think a lot of people know Bridget. She's originally from here. If you haven't got to meet her or Cody, you need to. They are amazing, and they have really kind of taken this place, and they follow my lead on let's build a culture and let's build a spirit, and we kind of rally with each other, and they've just been a great partnership to this team and to my team, and they help me out a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, just in closing, if you could say one thing to kind of the community of Abernathy as the high school principal, what would it be?
Always support our kids. This is the rock of this community, is this school, and from the elementary, middle school, and high school, the kids are the forefront of our community. Keep in mind that we're all here for them. We support them, and when they're on the field or they are in band or they're in academics, that everyone in these buildings and these walls are supporting your kids every single day, and we love them with our whole heart.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Mr. Albright. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And there you have it, our chat with high school principal Tate Albright this last week, as we welcome you back to our live show here at Code 3 Soda Shop and Meat Market in Abernathy. And Tate, or Chance, you can really, and one of the things I admire most about Mr. Albright, and I think you get a true picture of how passionate he is about it in this interview, but just his passion for school spirit, school pride, togetherness, and just fostering that culture at our high school campus.
Just fostering that culture of, like you said, just spirit and pride in the school, and then just lifting them up. And he even talked about, like, their job is to lead them, but it's also to kind of empower them to take ownership, and kind of like, him talking about them decorating the hallways. And it wasn't like they just did it during school days. Those kids came up there on a Sunday and really adhered to that challenge, and those halls were decorated all kind of crazy different ways. They all have their own different themes, and just the fact that those kids get excited about things like that. I mean, because it wasn't just a few years back where, kids weren't going to pep rally, certain things like that. So just the spirit that he's getting back to support not only football, but just to get excited about all the things, whether it's academics, band, anything that those kids are involved in, just making sure that they're all coming together and growing together.
And, this is something we'll probably get into on some future shows of Outside the Box, but I wanted to ask him about, obviously, some key new staff members at the high school. You've got Miss Horsford as your counselor. You've got Mr. Coyle as your new assistant principal. Just kind of talking about how all of that is meshing together to start the school year. And I liked how he said he was bragged on himself for making some good hires because it's going really, really well. He's got the right personalities in place. They all complement each other. They're all different,
for sure,
but they complement each other well. And so just a very strong staff under Mr. Albright's leadership at the high school.
Yeah, for sure. And it was funny. He mentioned a little bit on camera, but off camera, he talked about just getting them excited as well, talking about getting excited for Spirit Days and dress-up days. He was like, guys, I'm doing it, you're doing it, we're all doing it.
Hey, I saw it today. I was at lunch, and I don't know if he wanted to be or not, but Mr. Coyle was decked out, and so was Mr. Albright.
Yeah.
Mr. Albright said, Wait till Friday.
Yeah.
We've got a big plan in place for Friday. So he's all about it. You got to love the sense of pride and just genuine, like, happy to be here.
Yeah.
And to be a part of the Abernathy community.
Be a part of the community and just, like, jump in with both feet and knowing what a special place it is and how, like I said, he gets to lead, but he also wants to empower those kids and those students to continue to grow and take the lead on things as well.
You know, he talked a lot about homecoming. Obviously, homecoming week, lots of Spirit Days leading up to the football game on Friday night with the Farwell Steers, homecoming 2025. We'll obviously talk about that a little bit later on in the show. But Chance, we wanted to highlight the young ladies that were nominated for the homecoming court. And we'll go ahead and throw their picture up right quick. But a great group of young ladies to represent Abernathy High School. And we're going to run through those just right quick. Obviously, the princesses are your seniors. They are the ones that will be voted on to crown a homecoming queen 2025. You've got Amaya Delgado, Gabby Cruz, Kinley Sires, and Lacey Bloskus.
Yep, it's a good group. And then you have your underclassmen tie as well. So those are your duchesses, your freshmen, your sophomores, and juniors. Your freshman is Caitlin Spradlin, Miss Shay Molcock, who's your sophomore, and your junior is Mary Bell Uresti. And then, of course, you can't forget about the crown bearers. You have Miss Emmy Fullingham and Mr. Adam Walders.
As those are your little ones and the crown bearers. So excited to see all that play out on Friday night, but more than anything, just a great group of young ladies.
Yep.
And Adam, little Adam.
There you go.
To represent Abernathy.
He's got to protect that queen of the crown bearer.
Absolutely. Hey, and I don't know that we really had a lot of time to get into it, but I was kind of the unofficial homecoming king.
I need to check the record books.
Back in 2004. Hey, there is no record of it. There is no record.
So it can't be argued.
But that is exactly right. But I did escort the queen.
There you go.
So there you go.
Yep.
I was as much of a homecoming king as Abernathy had.
There you go.
So anyways, again, if you're at the football game at halftime, they will announce the 2025 Abernathy homecoming queen. Moving right along, Chance, at our high school campus, and this just speaks to how they're already diving in to get these students prepared for what's next.
For sure.
Even though it is early in the year, Miss Horsford, Mr. Albright, Mr. Pugh, they all kind of organized and put together a college and career night, primarily for the seniors, I think, but maybe involved others as well. I'm not sure, but just lots of different vendors, schools, colleges, armed services, different people on campus to talk to the kiddos as they navigate trying to decide what those next steps are.
I know it's just an exciting time for them to be able to do that, bring them that opportunity to where they're not having to go seek it out. And I know they do some other career fair things as well throughout the year, but like you said, just kind of getting a jump start of it and bringing those opportunities to those kids. And it isn't just for the juniors and seniors. They do allow, all the classes to go, but, just having that opportunity. And I know that's something that Ms. Hortford and Mr. Pugh are super passionate about, is letting them know there's more opportunities than just, it's not just you got to go to college, but just letting them know, hey, there's other careers that you can get a jump start on. And I know that they're bringing more of those things to Abernathy, and I think just the administration staff and the teachers are excited about giving those opportunities to those kiddos.
Yep, and rolling right along, Chance, one of the things that I love that Mr. Hill has brought to the school district and specifically to our board meetings, we've always had student recognitions.
Yep.
For UIL, band, athletics, academics, all the different extracurriculars. But one thing that he has added is each month we, as a school board and as a school district, celebrate an employee. or a staff of the school. And that was done just last week at our board meeting. And we can throw a picture up there. But the staff that was celebrated was actually Christy Nelson. As Christy is the dyslexia specialist at the school district here. And it was really cool to see her honored, but then just to see all of the campus admin, all levels, elementary, middle school, and high school, rave about the job she does. And evidently she recently put on a training for the staff that just kind of gave insight to what it is like for a student with dyslexia to try and learn. And just talked about how insightful that was and how helpful that was. And so I love how there's a space for people like Miss Nelson to be recognized.
And sometimes, especially in a role, whether it's a teacher or a specialist like dyslexia or inclusion, whatever it may be, you can kind of feel, a attaboy or a good job, and just that recognition can make you feel like, man, some gratitude. Not that they don't love their job, not that they don't love the kids, because they all do, and that's why they're in it, but just that extra recognition. I'll tell Miss Nelson, my son, he goes to see her. He's a dyslexia student, and he raves about her. He loves it. He does get homework from time to practice, but he enjoys it, and he always has a good time going to see Miss Nelson for sure. So she does a great job with those kiddos as well.
And also some students from the elementary recognized as part of the student celebration at that same board meeting, as you had Mr. Leland Lambert along with Miss Leighton Maxwell as they were honored for their dedication. And this might seem like a small thing, but this is a pretty big time commitment for
sure.
Elementary students. Every day, those two are responsible for raising and lowering the flag at the school, the flags at the school. And they just talked about how they reverently do it. They treat it with respect. They take it seriously. And they are there, rain or shine, and they do that. And so kind of I think they call the recognition a selfless act of service.
Yeah.
But Leighton Maxwell and Leland Lambert getting honored for that. So that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And two good kids come from two great families, Ty, and that is something that you see them every day when I go pick up. You see them out there lowering those flags. One has a Texas flag and one has the American flag, and they're getting them taken down and put up and getting ready for the next day.
And one other thing, Chance, we want to mention kind of around AISD or around our community. I feel like there's lots of new things being implemented this school year. Obviously, you've got the change in leadership at the top. Some of it comes from that, but I think part of it comes from just our admin team in general. And I think this is cool. This is not an idea I think I would have had, but they're calling it Golden Antelopes. And so this is for all of those grandparents that live in the school district but no longer have kids of their own in the school system. But it's an opportunity once a month, I believe, or so, maybe once a quarter, I'm not sure the frequency of it, to come to visit with school admin, to hear about what's going on in the district, to just be involved. I think it's the school district's effort to involve people that often get overlooked, but are a huge part of this community.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a huge part of the community, Ty, and you just have to remember, as a member of Abernathy, you may not have kiddos that go here, but your tax dollars are still going to help support the school. They're still fun, that money's still coming in for them. So it is good for them to be aware of like what's going on, what are some new things that we're adding, what are some things that you're trying to do for the school system. And so that way, when you do have changes, when you do have things going on, they feel informed. They feel like they know what our school district is standing for and how they're leading those kiddos.
Absolutely. So if you're interested in that, first meeting for Golden Antelopes going to be September 26th at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be in the big room in the administration building. Enter through the admin doors there next to the elementary school. Again, 10 o'clock on September 26th, the first meeting for the Golden Antelopes. And so, Chance, there was a lot to get into outside the box, sports, if you will, tonight. At Code 3. So glad we could do that. So let's take a quick break, and then we will jump in and we will take a look at this week in sports around Abernathy ISD.
Your home is your most valuable asset, and when you need repairs or upgrades, you want a name that you can trust. That name is MC Master Roofing and Construction. Their team will help guide you through every step of the process, from your insurance claim to a completed project. Small town and locally owned and operated, MC Master will not only get the job done, but they'll get it done right. They are a proud title sponsor of this broadcast and a proud supporter of Abernathy's young people. Give them a call today at 806-698-4653.
Yes, it is outrageous. As we welcome you back to Outside the Box, episode 5, live tonight at Code 3 Soda Shop and Meat Market, and glad to be here. But jumping right into this week in sports, Chance, talking about how outrageous it was.
It's a lot of runners.
The cross-country team competed in the cross-country meet at LCU in Lubbock this last Saturday. And in all, Coach Carlisle told me this week, over 2,000 runners in all, boys and girls, at the meet on Saturday. But Coach Carlisle very, very pleased with how it went, how her girls and especially guys, she said, competed against a lot of bigger school competition.
For sure.
It was not broke up by classes or anything like that. And so on the girls' side, varsity, you had Brianna Shorter, Gabby Cruz, and Natalie Maldonado. They kind of led the way for the varsity team. Over 300 runners in the varsity girls race. And then on the JV side, you had a whopping 124.
Still a lot
runners.
for a JV, for sure.
And it was Isabella Pando, Gianna Leon, and Alexis Bershears that kind of led that group of runners. And then she said the varsity boys ran especially well, and she was proud of them. Kingston Offal, Nash Rigler, and Micah Cortez kind of anchoring that boys team. 396 boys runners at LCU on Saturday.
Yeah, that's a huge group of runners, Ty. And, when we went to the first meet and even the second meet, you can see the groups. Like you said, they're not broken up by big school, small school. They're all running together. So you got kids running Coronado, Monterey, which is your 5A schools, and then you have a kid from Plains coming who's a 1A school. And so it just kind of showed you that disparity, but it doesn't change the fact that you all run the same race, you're all running the same course. So whether you're at a big school or small school, you can still get out there and compete. And that's a good kind of test for those runners to kind of see where they stack up against all that competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And volleyball putting their final tune-ups on before district play kicks off on Saturday. But talking a little bit about volleyball, Chance, the junior high teams over the weekend kind of had a one-day tournament on Saturday. And they, let's see. Actually, I got a little bit ahead of myself. On Monday night this week, the junior high team swept Post on the road on Monday night, and then over the weekend they were in that tournament. The 7th grade kind of going away. I think they won 5 matches or something like that on Saturday. They came away with the tournament championship, and then the 8th graders, they finished second in the 8th grade tournament. I believe a private school or a homeschool team from somewhere ended up winning on the 8th grade side.
Yep, and then like you said, the junior high coming up, they're going to travel to Tahoka this next Monday. And I'll tell you what, Ty, that 7th grade group, that's a strong group. They haven't lost too many games, if any at all. Undefeated. And so being undefeated still and then coming out and winning that tournament, that just kind of shows you, we talk about it, Kat's building that program, and if she's getting that enthusiasm, and those 7th graders, they're definitely taking it by the reins in their first year playing volleyball.
And then on the varsity side, Chance, last night actually, the last tune-up before district play starts this weekend for the volleyball Lady Lopes. And it was a home sweep in 3 sets for the Lady Lopes as they get the win over Borden County, 25-6, 25-21, and 25-18. A clean sweep for the varsity. Bree Shorter, 9 kills, 3 aces. Emma Revilla, 5 aces, 9 assists, and Briley Byers, 5 kills. Tatum Bailey had 19 assists, 3 kills, and 6 digs. So lots of positives for the volleyball team as they are going to Plains on Saturday and that'll be a big district opener for the volleyball Lady Lopes.
Yeah, it's a long trip headed out to Plains, but I know that'll probably be a tough match, Ty, but they have grown so much in their non-district schedule, and then also going into Plains, having that victory over Borden County, and they're just continuing to grow, Ty. And that's just it's exciting to see it. I went to the part of the game there after our practice on Tuesday, and to be able to see the crowd that's there supporting them, and like I said, it's continuing to grow, but excited for Coach Thompson and what comes this season in district play.
And Chance, as we switch to the football field, we had a full set of competitive games across the board with Littlefield this last Thursday and Friday. We'll start with the sub-varsity.
Yeah, the sub-varsity, 7th grade, they kind of had a little scrimmage ball game. They ended up coming out on top 16-0. 8th grade lost in a pretty close battle. I know, I believe it was 20-18, 22-8, something like that. I know they lost just by 2 points. I believe that was the score, and it was a tough break on a 2-point conversion. They weren't able to convert, but good game from those boys. It was a tough loss traveling to Littlefield, but big win, and it was a big back-and-forth game on the JV side. They came out on top here in Abernathy. They played Littlefield to a 26-20 victory. Cutter Johnson had a good game. He had 3 touchdown passes. Rafi Barrios had 2 receiving touchdowns and interception on defense, and then Jose Hernandez accounted for 2 touchdowns as well. Defense played out of their minds, having some big stops, some strips, and some turnovers to kind of seal that win for them.
So lots of competitive ball games sub-varsity-wise, and Chance, that did not change going into Friday night as Abernathy, the Antelopes, make the long road trip, or not long, I say long.
Hey.
Not really long, like
It wasn't Stratford.
30 minutes. We went to Stratford as they make the road trip to Littlefield to battle those Littlefield Wildcats. And it was really a really good football game that was kind of overshadowed a little bit with obviously Case's injury, but a really good football game. And really it came down to literally the final play as the clock hit 0. You have an opportunity as a Jagger Wiley pass to the end zone to Caden Bird. An opportunity there that just kind of fell awry as time ran out. And Littlefield, they're able to get a 31-28 win over the Antelopes, and that actually broke a 7-game win streak for Abernathy in this series.
Yeah, it broke a 7-game win streak, and, Ty, you said it. Not only did you have the big break when Case goes down, you have the extended break there, and then you go down, and Dre Minfield has a great catch to set you up inside the 4-yard line. Then the lights go out, and you you have to wait a little bit longer, and with just 2 minutes left, and so you get a penalty, you get pulled back, and then they ran an almost identical play to a 2-point conversion that they needed earlier in the ball game that they got. They run the same kind of formation on the opposite side of the field. Perfect route, perfect pass, and Caden had it in his grasp. And we talked to some of the coaches, and they said that there was a great picture that showed he's coming down with it, and that defender was able to get his hand in there right there at the end when he's coming down with it. And so did everything we could, and like you said, just kind of lost it right there at the end. But tough game, exciting game. It's a game that you never want to come away with a loss, but, those losses also you learn something from them. It's going to give this team some grit and some emotion going into this homecoming week for sure.
And Chance, it was a game. Abernathy really showed a lot of grit and toughness, if you will, as the Lopes fall behind 21-7 in that first half. They battle back into the second half. They get some big defensive stops. They get some big plays on offense. They come back and tie the game at 28. And then obviously it was a fourth quarter field goal of 24 yards by Littlefield with about 11 minutes left.
That we kind of questioned at the time.
Yeah, but it turned out to be the game winner.
It was. It was the deciding factor for sure.
A 31-28 win for the Littlefield Wildcats. Credit where it's due. Kind of has just been thrown into a starting role. But Littlefield sophomore quarterback Sammy Sines, he was really good. Yep. As he passed for 198 yards and he rushed for 125 and helping Littlefield rack up 403 yards of offense. The Antelopes, they are led by Colt Micheletti, who was our MC Master Roofing and Construction Player of the Game. 195 yards rushing on 22 carries for him. Wiley also throws for 130 yards as you're just shy of 400 yards as a team. But really, Chance, Abernathy struggled all night with the speed. I mean, I don't mean like fast, but just kind of a NASCAR-style offense that Littlefield ran. And Abernathy just had a hard time. It kind of felt like defensively you were on your heels all night long.
Well, you were on your heels, and like you said, it wasn't that they were fast and they were doing anything outrageous. It was just the fact that they'd run a play and they'd have, leave just enough time for us to catch our breath to get to the next play, and they would snap the ball. But they did a lot of just kind of quarterback read stuff. It was either a dive, a quarterback keep, using that running back as a lead player, or they were doing kind of a single route where the quarterback would just pick one side and throw to that one side. But if it wasn't broke, there was no reason to try to fix it. And there was a couple times where you came up with some big plays. You put some pressure on Signs, and you did have the 2 interceptions from that, but they kind of just beat you in certain critical moments where you needed to come up with a play too as well. So like I said, it was punch for punch coming back and tying that game, but a good Littlefield team. But I think that they probably are going to hit some struggles because of their lack of experience, because when you expose that and you put him under pressure, that's really where you did benefit it, but we just couldn't come out on top at the very end.
On the defensive side of the ball for the Antelopes, Malachi Walters leads the way, 13 tackles. Ryan Hillis had 12 tackles for the Antelopes as they tried to keep up. And that was an untraditional offense that you typically might see from a Littlefield team. Typically they're a power, line it up, beat you at the line of scrimmage. And to an extent that's what it is, but just at a much faster pace. I did think, though, Chance, we talked about it, the Antelopes show a lot of poise in the ball game, because when they fall down 21-7, you really have the feeling of like this one's about to get out of hand. All the momentum on Littlefield's side heading into the locker room. Kind of Abernathy regrouped at halftime, and they came back and really had a really good opportunity to win the game.
Yeah, you put yourself in the right position. You kind of grew up in sorts pretty quickly. Like I said, you made all the right plays. Just that one final one kind of fell short, fell right out of your hands right there at the end. So the lights wouldn't have gone out in the stadium, Ty. And
you never know.
You don't.
But I think you win that ball game if the lights don't go out.
Well, and the case situation and everything that happened there definitely put a damper on things. But once you got the momentum back going, all the momentum was going in your direction. And then Dre Minfield had to shut the lights off with his catch, and then that was it. Yeah, the lights out catch that he had. But, it was one of those things to where you never know. But if you're going to lose a game, you want to learn something from it. And I think these boys definitely learned something, and I think it'll be better for it for sure.
Yeah, so that sets the stage for Farwell coming up this week. Homecoming 2025, we'll preview that here in just a little bit. Not going to spend a lot of time with it, Chance, but we always like to go through how the rest of Abernathy's district fared on the football side. You had Slayton getting a big win over the New Deal Lions, 35-7. I think Slayton is the real deal. New Home, an impressive win for them, 34-14 over Muleshoe. Smyre, how many game losing streak did they break?
21 games, Ty.
A 21-game losing streak.
Go Bobcats.
Brought and Floyd brought an end to that.
I mean, Floyd is having a tough one, but kudos to Smyre for getting the W. That's kudos to them. That's a long time coming. I think they said their last one was back in 2023, so that's a long time.
Smyre beats Floyd 36-0. Post, a little bit tougher time than I think they might would have had, but again, I think they're dealing with some injuries. Post gets a 33-16 win over Seagraves. They remain top 10 in the state. And then a tough loss for Olton against a not very good Texaco team. 31-16, Texaco gets their first win of the year over Olton.
Yeah, I don't think either one of us expected that one, Ty, but I will tell you this, that Slayton game was very eye-opening to us, and kind of talks about Slayton too, but you don't really want to spend too much time on it, like you said, but it is cool to see a lot more competition from some of these South Plains teams.
Let's take a quick break here, about 30 to 60 second break. We'll come back live tonight at Code 3 Soda Shop and Meat Market.
Check out that trivia question.
Abernathy, Texas. Don't forget the trivia question. See our Facebook page for that and come get a free drink on Outside the Box. But we'll come back and we will preview the Farwell Steers and the Abernathy Antelopes coming up Friday night, Homecoming 2025. Stay with us.
Plains Land Bank has specialized in financing rural property for over 100 years. We are passionate about agriculture and want to see producers be successful. Your land is more than your livelihood. It's your legacy. Let us help you own a piece of Texas today. Come give us a visit at our Plainview office. We are proud supporters of all of our local high school student athletes.
And welcome back here tonight to Code 3 Soda Shop and Meat Market here in Abernathy, Texas, live and on location with Outside the Box. And Chance, we're among royalty here
We
at
are.
Code 3 tonight. As earlier in the broadcast, we talked about Leighton Maxwell as she got recognized at the last board meeting. And guess who showed up at Code 3 tonight?
She had to come get herself a soda and a sandwich. She got an award and she had to get a sandwich to go with it. So congrats, Leighton.
There you go. So let's jump into the Farwell Steers and preview Friday night's ball game. Chance, I've seen a couple of different spreads on this one, anywhere from Lopes by 10 to Lopes by 6.
Yep.
I feel like that's pretty generous because I think you've got a really good Farwell team. Maybe not as good as last year, but you've got a good Farwell team on the horizon.
You got a good Farwell team, Ty. They do have a new coach, I believe. He's coming into his first year, but they're returning 8 and 9 guys respectively. So it's still a young team, but they have some experience coming back. But when you change coaching staffs, that can definitely be a big deal. But they were 5 and 7 last year, area finalists. They went 2 and 2 in district. So not just a team that overpowered anybody last year, but a team that's been hungry so far this year, and they've played a decent schedule. And for them to come out and the South Plains has kind of recognized them. They jumped into the Lubbock AJ's top 10 at number 10 this week. So I agree with you with us getting all the points. Not saying that I don't believe in Abernathy. You have homecoming, all the passion, all the emotion. They are a smaller school than you. But, if you look at it just from a number standpoint, that's kind of a generous standpoint. I see it as more of maybe a 3 to 4 point spread. But, hey, I'll take it when you get it, right?
And it just feels like another toss-up game. It seems like it's been a preseason or pre-district full of toss-up games for the Antelopes. Farwell is 2-0. They also had a no contest in week 1 because of the weather against the Newdale Lions. Would have been really interested to see kind of how that one played out. But they do have wins over Texaco, 44-6, as well as Sundown, 38-26, in what sounded like a good ball game this last Friday night. When you take a look at their offense, Chance, they're a run-first offense that's led by their sophomore running back, Coy Miller, through 2 games, averaging 149 yards per game on the ground.
Yeah, he's averaging 149, almost 150 yards per game. And then also they have their quarterback, Colson Allen. He's thrown for about 272 yards and 4 touchdowns on 29 attempts in 2 games. And so probably more of a run-heavy offense, but they're not afraid to kind of let their quarterback do his thing and throw the ball around back there as well.
And they've got a receiver named Hunter AG, maybe. I'm not sure how you say that. We'll have to get clarification on that. Averaging 75 yards receiving per game. So some different playmakers on the Farwell lineup. They had almost 500 yards of offense last week against Sundown. 305 on the ground, 180 through the air. Maybe the most dual threat team we've faced so far.
Well, maybe the most dual threat. And like I said, haven't dove a ton into seeing what they are, but they look like, from on paper, what you can see is they're going to take what the defense gives them. So they're probably going to want to lead towards the run, but they're probably going to try to attack you wherever they're going to kind of find your weakness at, which a good coaching staff could. But you see teams that line up, and if they're a run-heavy team, they're just going to try to run it no matter what. And so, but like you said, probably going to see a diverse group between run and pass.
And Farwell looking to avenge what was probably Abernathy's most exciting win of the season a year ago. And I'm about to give away our trivia question.
There you go.
So if you're listening, you still have 18 minutes to get to Code 3, but it was a 42-41 Abernathy win over Farwell. And Chance, that was a game with, if I remember right, with about 3 or 4 minutes left, Abernathy trailed 41-27 or 41-28.
It may have been less than that.
It may have been like 2 minutes left. Yeah. But they find a way to rally and get the 42-41 win. The Antelopes did over Farwell last year. And as we kind of talk about keys to the game for Abernathy, you feel like depth is starting to become a problem.
Yeah.
You've got some injuries. Obviously, Case goes down this last week. You had some guys that were already out due to season-ending injuries. And so I think especially, Chance, in the defensive secondary, you're going to have some guys overperform.
Yeah, have some guys overperform. Some of your guys who are your juniors who played last year are going to have to step up and play a bigger role. And really, like I said, just play with some grit and some passion. And not that we haven't seen that, but it's just going to have to be a full game length. Without that depth, you're going to have to take more snaps. And so you're just going to have to find a little bit more energy out there on the field. And somebody that we talked about, we've seen moments, Ty. We've seen moments of it. And we've seen them drawing some things up front. But Caden Bird, he is a weapon, and you can tell just between his speed, his knack for getting to the ball, and he just had some tough breaks. He has the catch, gets it batted away. Had a good play, a couple weeks ago, ends up, fumbling it against Sunray. But he's one of those kids that if you get him the ball and you give him the opportunity and the touches, he's definitely going to make something happen. And I think that's what the coaching staff sees as well. And so see for him to kind of be a big part of the offensive game plan as well.
And Colt Micheletti, he's kind of been Mr. Consistent for the Abernathy offense on the ground.
Which is what you need, for sure.
Which is what you need. You'll need another big game from him. And I think he becomes, obviously, Jagger at quarterback is a key, and he's been playing well. But I think you're going to need Colt night in and night out if you want to win ball games.
Well, night in and night out, and I think you're going to have those hard carries. Last year you put him in there and you were expecting your 15, 20, your 30-yard breaks, but he's going to have to get you those hard downhill 5 to 6 yard runs where you're going to get a lot more interior. But we saw it against Littlefield. He had a couple of those, and what happens? He kind of dives to the middle, bounces to the outside, and goes for 50 and a touchdown, which is something that, man, if we can keep having those happen, that's going to go a long ways. But I think we talked about it, especially last week. It's the same thing every week. You got to have him run hard so it opens up and frees up the passing game for Jagger.
And Chance, I think something that the defense maybe struggled with a little bit at Littlefield, you're going to have to find a way to plug those holes on the interior. As Littlefield had some speed, I felt like they exposed you a little bit up front, and they went wide some, but really it was
up the gut,
5, 6, 7 yards a pop, and you're going to have to be better.
Yep, it was just right up the gut, and like I said, it wasn't anything fancy. That's the downside when you have the athletes that we have, and you don't have the big hog mollies up front. You only have 3 guys, which they've played hard and they play tough, but you're not really crowding the box. You have a lot more athletes, and so it gives them a little bit more cushion. And so knowing that going into the ball game, you're just going to have to play a lot more tough right there in the trenches for sure.
And it's going to be an emotional night at Antelope Stadium. Obviously, you've got homecoming in general. That always brings a little extra, whatever you want to call it, to the game. But you also know you're going to be kind of playing for number 7. Case Heinrich, obviously, we've talked about that. Really wish we could have pulled that game out in Littlefield.
I do.
Because that's what was on the mind of those boys. But, he's going to be on their minds again. And you're just going to have to channel that fire and that passion and not let it be a distraction.
Yeah, not let it be a distraction. And then along with all the other homecoming festivities, you're going to have a big crowd for sure with people coming in, classes that are coming in, having reunions and all kind of things. And so it's going to be a big crowd. It's going to be loud. And like you said, you got a Farwell team that's probably coming in here for some revenge. And I'm sure that, Wiley and the coaches are getting those boys prepared for that. But I think just playing with that emotion and kind of playing for number 7 strong and strapping it up for Case on Friday is going to be exciting for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chance, I didn't know if we'd have time to get into it on the show tonight, but we always like to have fun with some predictions, not only with Abernathy's game, but fellow district foes, kind of the games that they have going on this week. And I think both you and I think this matchup with Farwell is going to be close. I think it's going to be closer than the 6 to 10 point spread in favor of the Antelopes. I do like Abernathy in this one, but I think it's going to, again, come down to the final couple of minutes of the ball game. I've got the Antelopes 35-34 in kind of a high-scoring affair. I think it's going to be a ball game where both teams are able to move the ball and score points.
I kind of agree with you there, Ty, but I kind of see that playing at home, the last game we had at home, you stopped a high-powered offense in Sunray. I kind of see it going the same way. So I see us putting up about 34, but I think we can hold Farwell under 30, maybe 28 or 27, and coming out with the W as well. And I just think that our defense is going to kind of step up big this week, and hopefully we're right. Hopefully we get the W on Friday at homecoming.
Absolutely. It'll be a emotional but fun night on Friday.
I agree.
At Antelope Stadium. We'll quickly run through the rest of the district and tell you how we think those are going to shape out. Ropes takes on Olton in non-district action. And Chance, Olton seems to be trending in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
They're a team that I thought when the season started might be kind of a dark horse in the district, but I think Ropes is going to kind of right some wrongs in this one. They've kind of had an up and down start to the year. I've got Ropes by 3 scores.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 2 or 3 scores as well. I think Ropes will kind of pull out in front of Olton. I think I would have felt differently if Olton would have kind of taken care of business against Texaco, but them losing to Texaco was kind of eye-opening, especially the fact that, week ahead of that, Texaco gets beat, and I can't even remember who it was in our district that beat Texaco pretty handily. And so just to be able to see that kind of puts me uneasy and doesn't give me much hope for Olton up against a tough Ropes team.
And again, we mean no offense to our friends at Floydada, but I'm not going to pick them to beat anybody. Unfortunately, this year, it's just a down year for the Whirlwinds. They take on Trinity Christian, and I think Trinity Christian wins this one big.
Yeah, I think Trinity Christian for sure dominates and kind of handles business against Floydada.
New Home and Denver City. I believe this game is in Denver City. New Home's kind of been trending in the right direction. Yeah. New Home's been playing really, really well. They opened the season with that big loss to Liberty, which has proven not to be that bad of a loss.
Yeah, I mean, it's Liberty now. They're a lot bigger than they used to be for sure.
And so I think that they stay hot. Maybe at home, Denver City keeps it a little close, but I think New Home wins this one by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think New Home's going to dominate. They kind of run a different offense this year, like we talked about. They're not going to be cooking as much. They only got one cook in the kitchen now, but their offense is going to kind of give people fits probably, but I think they're going to handle the Mustangs there in Denver City.
And then New Deal and Sundown. I think this could be a good, potentially good ball game. It'll be a good measuring stick, I think, for the Lions. Mm-hmm. I think New Deal probably finds a way to get a win in this one. I could see it being a game where Sundown keeps it close for a while, and then New Deal kind of pulls away later in the second half. I've got New Deal by 10.
I think they're going to win by 10, maybe 2 touchdowns. Coming off that tough loss to Slayton where they kind of got beat up pretty badly, I think they'll want to go in with revenge. And I do believe when I was coming through, it looked like they were having their homecoming parade. So I think it's homecoming this week for New Deal. So probably put a little bit more excitement on that game there in New Deal with Sundown coming to town. And so those 2 teams have matched up pretty well over the past few seasons. But I think New Deal will pull it off this week.
And lots of eyes going to be on this next matchup.
For sure.
Post and Slayton on Friday night. This is the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Statewide game of the week. It is the AJ's game of the week. Really intrigued by this matchup. We've talked how good Slayton is, and we think they're the real deal. Post, you've got a top 5 or 6 team in the state of Texas, and I think you and I both like a mild upset in this one, as I've got the Slayton Tigers at home knocking off Post by maybe a field goal.
Yeah, I have them winning by about 6. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a tight back and forth game. I think it's really going to be both the offensives are going to be able to score. Slayton is very high powered. They're very quick. I haven't seen a lot of posts, but I know they've put up numbers. But I think it's going to kind of come down to which defense is going to kind of get a stop or two. And that's the team that's going to come out on top. But I think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring, but I think Slayton pulls it off, especially at home.
Yep. And that Chance, that was feels like we packed a lot into this hour, but that's a quick rundown of this week's Outside the Box. And tonight we've been live at Code 3 Soda Shop and Meat Market. About a few people trickle in and trickle out. If you haven't had an opportunity to check out Code 3, we would encourage you to do so. It is a daily stop for my family, if nothing else.
Agreed.
Maybe more than once daily to get a beverage of choice, and they've got some really good sandwiches and salads as well, along with a meat market here at Code 3, steaks and some really high-end beef that could feed your family. Come see the fine folks here at Code 3, and we'll be here a couple of more times over the course of this year, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to talk to the folks that started this one. But again, all first responders, support first responders.
You can see all of the patches back here.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a really cool vibe here at Code 3. And so super thankful for their support of our broadcasts and allowing us to come in and do our on-location show tonight.
Yeah, super excited for the support. And it just speaks to the community of Abernathy. And, I know my kiddos love coming in here. We pull up on the golf cart. It's about a stone's throw from our house. And we pull up, and usually if they see us coming around the corner, they have our drinks ready and sitting on the counter. And my kids just love it. They feel like they're the coolest thing under the sun when they have a drink ready for them right here. And I think everybody in my family has a punch card. So we may never get a free drink because we don't ever fill one up because everybody else wants to put their punch card in there to get a free drink.
But we finally have one in each car, so
there you go.
Doesn't matter what we're in. So anyway, come see the fine folks here at Code 3 Soda Shop and Meat Market. But as always, thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back at our normal time, 8 o'clock next Wednesday night, back from the Outside the Box studio / Ty's Playroom.
The kids' playroom. But also, don't forget, Thursday, tomorrow, bonfire, lighting of the A. As soon as it gets dark, and I think the JV gets back into town, so if you want to be there, that'll be tomorrow night. And then obviously all the homecoming festivities, pep rally. And then remember, they will be selling those bracelets for the Heinrich family after the pep rally and then prior to the football game on Friday as well.
And as we've already said, but Kira, Tack, and Case, we're praying for you guys, praying for your families here. I know we are. I know lots of people are.
I think the whole community is, for sure.
We'll continue to do that. Just a special place to call home. But as always, thanks for joining us, and good night.
God bless.
And go Lopes.